to someone who might not know, who are we talking to today?
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. So today we are talking to Lusonele Kuse from Bizana, a former candidate of Nongege Senior Secondary School. I'm currently in UJ doing my LLB degree, and I'm doing my second year this year.
Oh, lovely, lovely. With that being said, had something about LLB, maybe to a matriculant who might be interested. What does LLB degree entail?
So starting with the broad term law as a whole, under law we have different faculties like LLB degree, become law degree, and also BA law. So me, as I'm doing LLB degree, I want to become a future attorney or advocate or even a prosecutor in future. That's why I'm doing LLB. So if you're doing LLB, that's what you might get at the end of the degree.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I feel like that's a great point, because sometimes we get ourselves into things that we don't really understand what we will get out at the end. So that was like awesome. So with that being said, I feel like we need to take a step back, because now we are deep into varsity and degrees. Maybe with like grade 12, what do you experience of being a matriculant?
To be honest, guys, my experience as a matriculant was different from what I expected, because before getting into matric, I had a lot of people saying that matric is difficult, matric is challenging, matric, there's high pressure in matric. But when I got there, I found it, as much as it is challenging, it was also enjoyable for me. Because firstly, I wanted to be part of the matriculants, because when I was doing grade 10, I saw what inspired me the most, which was seeing matriculants being treated differently in a special way. So that's why I wanted to be part of the matriculants. Yes.
Yeah, that's that's really true. It has always been the case, and I love the fact that you mentioned that as much as everyone said it was going to be challenging, but you saw an opportunity to prep yourself in terms of like your readiness when you actually become matriculant. So in terms of challenges, because you mentioned something about challenges. So what challenges did you face as a matriculant?
Okay, so as a matriculant, I was not able to be consistent in the beginning of the year. I was challenged by my consistency. I wanted to remain in the same position. I wanted to maintain my consistency. So for me, that was very, very, very challenging. And also, Maths Lit, it was challenging for me, as I was not good with numbers, and my attitude towards the subject was inappropriate. So that's why it was challenging for me. Lastly, it was the issue of dating. I wanted to balance between my studies and also girls at the same time, which was absolutely wrong. So that was also one of my challenges. It's a phase. It's a phase. I feel like everyone does experience that phase.
Yeah,
And it was also challenging for me. Yes.
I think that was like supremely powerful, because you flagged one of the universal issues. Because I feel like even with me, consistency was the issue, and you also like raised an important point about like attitude, that like your attitude towards a specific subject will actually determine how you perform. So thank you for sharing that with us. So with that being said, like what did you do to overcome those challenges?
So firstly, with regards to consistency, I learned that if I plan beforehand, before studying, before writing exam, then I will never go wrong. I will never go wrong. So that was the approach that I took. I decided to plan every time, everything that I do, I was planning it. I gave it time. I gave my studies enough time. I gave my exam studies enough time. So that's how I maintain my consistency.
That was really good. That was really good. Is there any, like something you wanted to add? Like someone?
So I would like to add also the part of the girls. So in part of the dating part, it was not difficult for me to make a choice because I had to choose my priority. And my priority was school, it was studying. So I prioritized studying. So it was easy for me to cut off girls. Because after June exams, I literally stopped studying at all. I was no longer I was no longer dating. I was no longer dating. I was only focusing on my goals. I was studying almost all the time. And also with meds, of course, I changed my attitude and I asked for help. One of my classmates, and he helped me very much. So I was able to go back to what I desired.
Yeah, I think I love the points you mentioned, and that shows your bravery, the way you want others to see what, like how the small things can actually distract your long-term goal. So that was like supremely and like supremely brave. And with that being said, I feel like the solutions you just provided, as in you have to make a choice. You've got two choice, then you have to actually decide what is more important to you. Then you go with that. Otherwise, if you stay undecided, then you're in trouble. That was awesome. So um with that being said, like how did you end up being in UJ?
Okay, thank you for the questions. So for me, it was also one of my goals, one of my desires to be in UJ, is to get into UJ University. Yes. So since grade 10, and also I knew that I wanted to study LLB degree. I had passion for law from the start. So the journey was not easy, of course, but there were different approaches that I was using in order for me to get higher marks, in order for me to be able to go to university. For example, I used to study at night, study the whole night. I used to wake up early in the morning around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and study until in the morning when the sun rises. I used to go to school at night and study after classes because I wanted to move out of my comfort zone and be able to study in an effective way.
That's one of the like the strongest points you've mentioned, like about comfort zone. Sometimes uh, I also like relate to that. It's not always about the way you feel. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do, regardless of the way you feel. So that was, yeah, that was really, really good. So in closure, what advices would you give to a current matric student?
The advice that I would give to current matriculant is that, firstly, as a matriculant, you have to prioritize. That means your time and your studies are the most priorities, are your priorities. You have to make sure that you study enough, give your studies enough time. You don't waste time because you will regret that at the end of the year when the examination is in front of you. You're gonna regret that. And also be able to plan beforehand. Be able to plan before studying. Be able to plan before writing the exam. Make sure that you studied enough and your plan is going accordingly and is working for you. Because one of my lectures last year said, if you fail to plan, that means you are planning to fail. So do not plan to fail, but plan in order for you to pass. Yes. And
That
also, yes, and also the applying part. please, guys, make sure that you apply on time. Apply for as many as possible varsities as you can, in order for you to be able to also study next year, because it's very sad and difficult to see a person who obtained maybe good results, but who did not apply, and they are struggling to get to university. Okay, so it's very important to apply. Thank you, sir.
I guess you mentioned like really important points. Like some people will do good, but still they won't apply. So application is an integral part of everything you expected to do after you complete your matric. So I guess in maybe some other time we can delve more into varsity experience, but I feel like for the day we really covered some important aspects that the learners might be interested in knowing. If they have any question, they will ask definitely, and we will get back to you. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
You're off my recording.
Yeah.